officially, hand this to you. Obviously, you can't, you can't officially, cash that. At least I don't think so.
Yeah.
Today's a very, very special day. Been, trying to put this together for a little while now, but I was, introduced to Joe in a unique way at a DM conference out in Nashville. And I remember, I you had kind of talked about how you were raising money,
Yeah.
for Canine Heroes and different things like that. And after I kind of raised my hand and I had a question talking, to Sean Whalen and Mark Evans and asked them, how do you shift your mindset, to make more money? And one of the things that I wanted to do was I want to give away $1,000 a day, for a year. That was kind of one of my big goals. And Sean Whalen had challenged me because you said, hey, I'm raising money, for my organization,
Yeah.
which is Canine, Heroes. And he said, well, why don't you start, here, right?
Yeah, call it your house.
Yeah. Why don't you, give $1,000 to Joe, right? It's like, oh, well, it's actually not a bad idea, right? It's a good way to start. So if you want to kind of, talk about your organization and kind of what you do,
Yeah.
and you said Loki, right?
Yep, this is Loki.
Loki, okay.
So Canine Heroes for Heroes, we're a nonprofit. Our goal and our mission is to provide service dogs to veterans and first responders at no cost to them. So each one of these dogs is roughly $25,000 per dog and up. Really depends on how many tasks you're putting on that dog. To be considered a service dog, they have to perform at least 3 tasks for their handler, and that could be a multitude of things. But it was a great event meeting Sean and Mark, and I raised my hand and asked a question as you did, and they immediately brought us up on stage, and Sean called everyone out,
Yes.
and you raised your hand. You jumped in the mix, and I appreciate that because every penny counts, and what these dogs do for our veterans and first responders is amazing.
Yeah.
It lets them lead the life they want to lead, gets them back out in public. It gets them more comfortable with how they used to be prior to whatever caused the need for the service dog.
That's amazing. You kind of touched on my next question was going to be, how much does a typical dog cost? If you want to kind of go into the training and kind of how that works, I mean, are these kind of dogs starting, as a puppy, or can a dog transition later in life, or how does that work?
Because we're a smaller organization, we get them as a puppy. Okay. We want to know everything about those dogs, and we're making sure we're getting them from reputable breeders. Mm-hmm. So we're going to get the dog, and like any dog, like your pet dog, they're going to get the basic obedience, the sits, the downs, the stays, things of that nature. Then we're going to pair them with the veteran, and whatever the veteran needs. What is it? Do they need a behavior interruption? Maybe their trigger is they start shaking. We'll teach the dog when they see that to interrupt that behavior. Maybe they need to go pick up the person's medicine, pick up their leash. So we're going to start and pair the dog with the veteran as soon as possible. That way that bond starts to build, but we're going to get all the gear, the harnesses, the leashes, the crates, the dog beds. We're going to take care of the initial veterinary care and the feeding. Eventually that will fall upon the veteran or first responder. It's a pretty intricate application process, because not only are we taking care of the veteran or first responder, but we have a responsibility to the dog too. Mm-hmm. We need to know the individual we're giving them to, one, is deserving, and two, can actually take care of the dog in the long run. So
that's amazing. I kind of have a couple follow-up questions with that. So follow-up question number one: if there was a veteran who wanted or needed a dog, what does that process look like to get a dog?
So we have on our website, it's www.canineheroesforheroes.com. We have an initial eligibility form. So they'll fill that out, send it to me, and if I think they meet the requirements, then I send them the long form application, which is extensive. It's a DD-214 if you're in the military, medical records, things of that nature, so that we can verify you need it and are deserving of it. So
Understandable.
Yeah.
And let's just say somebody who's watching this, maybe they want to get involved. Is there a way that they can get involved, obviously from a financial, donation standpoint, but maybe is there any other way that they can get involved?
Yeah, they're also on the website, there's a way they can send me a request and ask that question.
Amazing.
The biggest thing right now, because we're not that big yet, is sharing our posts, sharing our story, getting out there. Like you said, obviously financial, we need that just like most nonprofits. But sharing it, inviting us to events, putting us in front of people like the Sean Whalens and the Mark Evans of the world, and letting us speak with them. Our calendar's filling up quick. If you look at our website, there's a calendar section. We've got a golf outing this year somebody's doing for us, a wine tasting, a comedy show. I'm speaking with some VFWs and things of that nature. So yeah, it's just helping us get the word out there like you're doing for us, and I can't thank you enough for that.
Of course. Like I said, I was intrigued, by your story again, kind of a good buddy of mine. He's a Portage County canine, officer himself, and I know just what he had to go through and just the rigorous training that you have to give these dogs. So I was in full support of it, and happy to be here. And I'm going to kind of ask a personal question, more of, so I guess 5 years from now, what would you like to see, with the vision of your company?
What I'm hoping is we're putting 6, 7, 10 dogs out a year. That would be the goal. I mean, that's a lofty goal. I want to stand Canine Heroes for Heroes up to be here long after I'm gone. That's the ultimate goal, that it is still here when I'm gone. My vice president, Megan Wald, she's out in Kansas City. She could take it over with a local rep as well. The ability to expand nationwide.
That's amazing.
So, yeah.
So for something like that, you said about 5 to 6 dogs, out, a year. What do you think the ripple effect of that would be? Just across the country.
I think it would be huge, because everybody hears a 22 a day of a veteran, and I'm not even sure what the statistic is for first responders that are taking their own lives, which breaks my heart. We need to bring that number down to 0. If by doing what we're doing, we save one person, who knows what that person then is going to go on to do, or their kids are going to go on to do. So yeah, we've got to cut back on that them taking their own life.
Yeah.
They've given so much. This is what we can do to give back to them.
Yeah. And correct me if I'm wrong, the 22 a day is the 22 veterans a day who are committing suicide.
Correct. Yeah, and that's actually low.
Yeah.
We know that's not an accurate number, but that's the number they've put, and we've got to stop it by doing what we're doing here, what we did at the DM Live event, just getting the word out there. And we collaborate with other service dog companies throughout the country, because I don't have to be the one to provide all the dogs, but I want them to have dogs. So if it's somebody I can't take care of, either because it's logistically or maybe we don't have the financing, I'll try to find a service dog company in their area and give them that information.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. So putting out 5 to 6 dogs a year financially, what does that look like as far as donations having to be raised?
Probably 100 to 150,000 a year.
Okay.
Again, using that 25,000 per dog, that number goes up depending on if you're putting more tasks on a dog, because our current veteran in the program, her dog probably has about 10 different tasks.
Okay.
And the blessing is, she actually, through the training she got from us and American Canine Dynamics, who we collaborate with in the area, has learned how to teach her dog other tasks.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, they become trainers themselves.
That's
and it's
amazing.
awesome, yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I just want to real touch on, so what would be a task that a dog would
A
do?
task could be, like I was saying, it's it could be a behavior interruption.
Okay.
So again, maybe my hand twitches, and that's
Okay.
the dog will interrupt that behavior. Or I drop my medicine bottle and I need the dog to pick up the medicine bottle. Things of that nature.
Okay.
Something that the handler needs help with. Could be mobility and stability. I don't need it right now, but when I get up, I use him as leverage and I push up off of him so that he realizes that pressure is a good thing.
Okay.
So
Understandable.
yeah.
Understandable. All right, I got one more last question for you that I try to ask a lot of people, but knowing what you know throughout your whole life experience and everything like that, what's life advice you would give to the younger generation or your younger self?
I've been using this ever since the DM Live event that Sean Whalen said, who do I have to become to, and you add your two. That struck a chord with me like you can't even imagine. And then the other term they used down there was the giving muscle. I tell people, find your passion, whether that's dogs, whether that's this interview process. Find out what your passion is and go support it.
Yeah.
Again, realize everybody can't afford to do it financially. You can give time,
Yeah.
you can give money, you can give effort, but find what you're passionate about and give. Because if we all give a little bit, it's going to do a lot.
Love that. I love that. I love that. And so true. And it's just, a little, okay, I'm going to stand up and I'm going to ask, right? And
Yes.
and look what chain of events came from
the
this.
ripple was unbelievable. Not only from Sean and Mark bringing me up on stage and challenging everybody, that we raised $27,000 in about 10 minutes.
That's powerful.
And it's continuing with you and I being able to do this. There's another individual who is engraving a custom SIG that we're going to do a giveaway for. So it's just continued. I feel like I'm going to leave people out, but there's so many people that I met during that time that have reached out, that have already helped us take the next step forward. So it's unbelievable.
That's amazing. And kind of touch about the $27,000 in 10 minutes is, you kind of, raised your hand and said, I'm trying to raise money. I just want to get in front of more people. And Sean Whalen and Mark, brought you up on stage, and there was about 300 or 400 people there at the conference,
Yeah, probably.
if I remember. And you know, they said, hey, if anyone wants to donate, you know, to this cause, please stand up. And again, what was it, about 20,
Yeah,
20 to
27, 30 people raised
Yeah.
their hand, and Sean and Mark just started pointing them out. And it was my goal is how do I get myself in front of this room to share this mission? And Sean made it happen.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Just like that, right?
Yeah.
Had you not done that, right, you know, who knows if that would happen. But worst case scenario, right, you raise your hand, nobody says anything, you go about your life. Nothing
Right.
changes, right? But
Right.
look what happened. So, you know, I can't thank you enough for your time.
you.
You know, I'm definitely going to put a link on, and if you guys want to, you know, get in contact with
Yes.
you, how to donate, you know, how to just get involved, you know, please, you know, definitely click the link and learn more about you. You know, and again, I can't thank you enough for the opportunity.
No,
So keep
thank
doing
you,
what you're doing.
because this is a friendship that's going to last now
love it.
till I'm in the grave.
I love it. I love it.
Because I'll probably be there before you.
kind of officially, you know, hand this to you. Obviously, you can't, you can't officially, you know, cash that. At least I don't think so.
Yeah, that looked funny going in there.
Yeah, but just give you the you know, the cash here. So, you know, the $1,000 here. Just want to show the camera, you know, to you know, always got to verify that it's real. But
And that'll be going right in the bank and going towards a dog. So thank you so
No,
much.
that's-
God bless you,
yeah,
Darren.
man. Hey, you know, you know, again, I appreciate it. It's you know, what you're doing inspires me. You know, because, you know, $1,000, you know, maybe a teardrop in the bucket,
No,
but I
it
want
goes
to.
a long way.
Yeah,
It
no,
goes a long
I
way.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. But one day, I want to, you know, maybe even be able to sponsor a whole entire dog, right? So this, as much as, you know, this is for you, this is also for me too. To okay, you know, there are other things that I could be doing, working harder to, you know, get that donation from 1,000 to 25,000.
But you're exercising that giving muscle.
Very true. Very true. So hey, appreciate it as always.